What's up, guys? My name is Matt Hammerly, and this is the Ripped and Rich podcast where we talk about subjects like health, wealth, love, and happiness. And those are the fulfilling things that people need to strive to improve upon and become their strongest version of self. And today, I have a special guest, and his name is Daanish, and he's going to tell me about his entrepreneurship story, about how he got started, and the past failures, how he overcame them, and just what he's learned. So, Daanish, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me on this podcast.
Yeah,
Matt.
no problem. So let's start off with telling the audience about a little bit about yourself, how you got started, what made you get started in entrepreneurship, first of all. So, yeah, let's start off with that.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't really come from any family background that, I've had business owners or entrepreneurs in my family. But ever since I've been since high school age or even middle school age, I think I've always had that itch where I was always selling stuff, buying stuff and then reselling it, whether it was I remember candy. And I think that's how you kind of know you have those seeds of entrepreneurship within you. Is when you're in maybe middle school or high school, you're buying something and you're selling it because you're you don't really need that stuff. So you're just man, even if I make a few bucks, I'll take that. So that's kind of how I started, in high school. I guess my first thing that I started with, not trading my time for money and making income was basically buying and reselling phones. I remember I bought a phone when I was in high school, maybe 11th or 12th grade when it started. And I had bought a phone, listed that phone on eBay, and literally made $50-$60 and I was damn, that's crazy. So I asked the same guy that I bought the phone from. I realized that he sells more phones, and actually started buying and selling a lot. Literally in the first 3 months I remember starting, I literally probably made $2,000-$3,000 in profit in 3-4 months. And it was pretty crazy. Yeah. And I was literally making profit margins of 50-60%.
Jeez.
And I was man, I could start. Now I started looking at other people that are selling phones. I started doing market research, and I was damn, this is crazy. I don't think I ever worked a job for 1 or 2 years and I made enough income, and it was bad because then I started hanging out with a lot of friends and I wasn't producing anything, but I had enough money saved up from all the phones that I had sold with profit and stuff.
Wow. So please explain so with the phone business, what type of platforms did you use to sell phones? What did you think was the best platform to use for selling phones?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say the best platform for selling phones would probably be a website called swappa.com, and then also eBay, but I wouldn't really suggest eBay. The best one, if you want to sell, I would go to use swappa.com for selling. And then, of course, local platforms that you can use is Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. Craigslist's still there, but Craigslist is pretty dead now. So I guess those two main is OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace.
Okay, cool. What did you think that Facebook Marketplace was the best one, or which one do you think was the best?
As in local selling, I think OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace are the best. And then if you want to sell online for selling cell phones, I would say swappa.com is probably the best platform to use for selling phones in a legit way.
Okay, cool. So you were telling me about the business that you were doing now. How has that helped you kind of just realize, learn more things, and what are you doing right now?
Yeah, for sure. So now, I started my own web-based company, maybe at the age of 19, 20. Came across events, went to some events, met some other entrepreneurs who are, mostly busy professionals, and some students that were doing a plan B. Plan A is, my business coach always taught me, get a degree, get a job. But remember, that's only, that at the end of the day, that's, one source of income. And, a lot of people realize if you want to create financial success, you eventually want to have multiple streams of income. So I kind of met a business coach who eventually started coaching me about, how to build an online business, basically in the space of network marketing, and kind of launched my business, where in this business you're mostly focused on building teams and kind of bringing in the right people into your business, and kind of helping other big companies produce more revenue by kind of using something called word of mouth advertisements. And that's kind of how I got started in business. I was always had that entrepreneur mindset kind of, but it wasn't until I kind of met a business coach who kind of shifted me from how to actually do proper business instead of just buying and reselling phones good to make profit, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like a business.
So do you recommend that people should have somebody that they look up to? So in regards of like a mentor, just someone they can learn from in general?
Yeah, for sure. A big shift for me was having a mentor or coach, because that's gonna cut your learning curve literally like more than half. So like for sure find someone, and the coolest thing is there's a lot of people that are willing to coach you and train you, as long as they kind of sense that you're humble and you kind of have hunger inside of you. So for sure find some kind of coach or mentor that, by mentor meaning someone that is ahead of you and is actually willing to teach you. And for sure like, grab their attention and, start learning from them and stuff.
Are there, and I see your stories a lot, you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And what books, so if someone's just starting out with entrepreneurship, what books would you recommend that people start out with and they get a better knowledge of how to run a business, or just the mindset in general?
For sure, yeah. So a lot of people I know, even my business coach always talks about, is a lot of people want to run a business, but business is always secondary. The first primary is getting the right mindset, because if you don't get the right mindset towards business and how to run a proper business, you'll fail in any business. And that's kind of what a lot of people do, is they look at business, get in, but they don't realize that you got to first change your mindset to thinking like an entrepreneur, doing stuff like an entrepreneur before you actually build that business. Right. And for sure, books is plays a big role when you're building any business, because that kind of helps you change that mindset. Because our default mindset is go to school, get a degree, get a job. But if you want to eventually think and be like a business owner, entrepreneur, you got to start reading the right books, maybe listening to the right podcast talks or whatever, and getting around the right associations, and then possibly having a business coach or mentor who's kind of guiding you. But some of the favorite books that I kind of read off that really changed my mindset in the beginning was for sure Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That was a good one.
That's a great book.
A book that kind of helped me think bigger was a book called Magic of Thinking Big. That's a really good book. There's some other books for sure, but if I were new, I would for sure read like these 3-4 books. Is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Probably get your hands on Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki as well. Another book called Magic of Thinking Big, and a book called Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Compound Effect. Yeah, what's that book about? The Compound Effect?
Yeah, so he kind of talks about, anything you do, business, how to kind of, have leaps and bounds in growth when it comes to like business, fitness, and like, he just talks about like being patient, like there's a saying, I don't know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen it, where it's like 0.99 times 365 is like nearly zero, but 1.01 times 365 is like a huge number.
It is.
So that little compound effect that you do like something every day can accumulate to something big.
Yeah. So please explain to me, like, so you were telling me that like you kind of had a different friend group when you were younger, and that kind of got you distracted on your main purpose. So please explain to me how friends and just those people you surround yourself with influenced you with entrepreneurship and just achieving your dream.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone has those group of friends, basically, that they're, you're friends with in high school, maybe even college. But some people might not have that like same vision as you. They might be, having fun, and they might be a cool people to hang out with to have fun, but they might not be chasing what you want to chase, whether that's, business, entrepreneurship. So eventually you got to start seeing how you can get in the right crowd, get around other people that are on that same mission. Because if you hang out with, they say you're a product of the closest 5 people you hang out with. So eventually you want to become an entrepreneur, you got to start hanging out with people, because you can't be an entrepreneur and then hang out with someone who wants to do nothing with business. Yeah. You'll never be able to succeed.
Yeah. No, it's so true, because I used to have like similar friends, and when I would want to like run my business, they would kind of tell me like, "Oh, Matt, don't worry about that, go drink with us, let's get drunk, let's do stupid stuff."
Yeah.
And then I had my friends that were like, "Matt, you need to focus on like your goal, your purpose. Like, there's a bigger purpose than just drinking." And I said to myself, I'm like, you're right. Like,
sure.
Like all this stuff, like it feels good, like in the moment, like drinking and just doing all that like crazy stuff. But
for sure,
you're not gonna really remember those things like 20 years down the line.
For sure.
You're gonna remember like your work ethic, just your purpose in general. Like that's kind of just a stage a college stage that people go through.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that when you're wanting to achieve success, I don't think there is no age limit to like becoming successful. I think
For
a
sure.
3-year-old could become
it's
successful.
crazy.
You know what I mean?
I think the average millionaire age right now is like people in their 20s.
Like young,
It's crazy.
like
yeah,
there's like a 16-year-old
making like $100,000 a year.
There's like a 16-year-old millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
He was featured on Russell Brunson. You know, I see advertisements about him.
And they're all leveraging internet.
Yeah, he's leveraging. Most importantly, he's leveraging social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Like big time. He has a big following.
Yeah.
And he has I've watched some of his YouTube channel. Like I think his name's Caleb.
Caleb Maddox.
Yep,
Yeah.
Caleb Maddox.
Yeah.
He started entrepreneurship when he was a child.
Yeah, because of his
And
dad.
yeah, and so he's been doing it ever since, and he has a big following on YouTube. He has a big following on like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and that's really helped him just grow his engagement with people and stuff like
sure.
that. And please explain to me like how you. Like, I know that you personal brand yourself on, like, social media.
Mm-hmm.
Please explain how that's important for the future. And,
Yeah.
like, how that's helped you out.
Yeah.
Like, have you met certain people that, without social media you would have never met?
Yeah,
You know what
for
I mean?
sure. I mean, I guess the next big thing right now is really personal branding because we don't really know how long social media is going to exist and how popular it's going to be like it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really able to develop that good presence online, building whatever niche, whether you're in like fitness, business,
Mm-hmm.
modeling, whatever, your real niche is, what you're passionate about, it's pretty big because when social media is so big, you're going to come across a lot of people. And like I've been able to network with a lot of people on Instagram. Even right now I'm meeting you because I never actually met you in person. We met on Instagram.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and that's all personal branding. Like imagine if I had 100 followers and I followed like 1,000 people and I had 2 pictures. It probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But you saw kind of I had that credibility. I saw you had that credibility. You posted stories that I would sometimes see. You probably saw some of my stories that I sometimes posted. And it's pretty huge because I've actually done business now. I remember meeting business partners, literally contacting them through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I would contact them is if they have the right kind of somewhat, right pictures and right following and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I see someone with like 100 followers and they're following like
they're
2,000.
fake. Like it's fake.
Yeah, and even if they're not fake and I realize they're real, if their content sucks too, then it's like I'm not going to approach them about anything.
Right, yeah. I agree with that, like 100%. Because you don't want to like, most importantly, you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste their time, and they don't want to waste
your time. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
like vice versa. So,
for sure.
And it's not like it's not like an insult. It's just kind of like we're in different stages in our life, and you just choose to, and like you seem to have a sense of discipline when it comes to running your business, even when it comes to fitness. So, explain to me like what your routine is usually on a daily basis when it comes to like running your business and then also fitness. Like what's like an everyday routine that you do?
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of like to plan my days like the night before. So, I'm going to lose my next day if I don't plan my night before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing. Like if you want to create success and you want to actually like have results, for sure, plan your days. Like know what you're doing. Like I literally sometimes map out days, and there will be days you get lazy and you don't do it. But map out your days. Like today, let's say it's like a Tuesday. So by Tuesday night, I should already know for Wednesday what I'm doing from like 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And usually like I'm still working right now. I'm doing Uber.
Yeah.
So I'd probably wake up by like 5:30, head out by 6.
Mm-hmm.
Probably work to around like 10 a.m. Then usually between 10 and 12, I try to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of gym, like, because I noticed when I stopped going to the gym, I would get more lazy, I was sleeping more.
Yeah.
But when you kind of start going to the gym, you enjoy, number one, of course, your looks get better. But more than that, it's like you feel good. You just have a natural more energy.
Absolutely.
And it's really important, I feel like, because every successful person I've noticed now, if they lose even their money, they would always want their health back. So
they're into fitness.
Yeah, they're into fitness because,
health.
You don't got to be huge on it, but, like, at least being somewhat, being in that arena of the gym is really important.
Mm. Definitely. Yeah. The gym's really helped me out as well.
For sure.
Because I used to be like super skinny.
Mm-hmm.
I still am, but less skinny. I had one time, like in high school, I had a mullet.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mullet in high school, and I had these nerdy glasses. I played